What's up, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new video. So in this one, I'm going to be doing something that, I haven't done a video like this before because this is literally years in the making, and I'm not kidding. So I have this poster here that I'm going to grab. First, I'm going to pull something up here. But I have this poster here that I'm going to grab. I'm going to show you. Obviously, this is the back. So this poster, my mom got it for me 5-6 years ago maybe. And what it is the scratch off poster. It's from Innovati, is the person that made it, I believe. This is the top 100 movies, the ultimate collection. I think you should be able to see the whole thing if I go like that. It started off all these completely covered. I watched them even if I had already seen them. I went through one by one and watched each of these movies, not in order. The way that I did it is it was a little fun thing that my mom and I did. She would this poster has been with me in all the different places I've lived, the 4 different places I've lived over the past few years: college, my apartment, the houses I've lived in. And my mom, when I lived with her, when she got it for me, she would come into my room and she would randomly point out a movie, and that would be the one I would watch. Then she would come look at the thing I scratched off and point at the next one. Then when I moved out, I would send her a picture of the box that I had just watched, whichever movie that was, and then send her a picture of the whole poster, and she would randomly zoom in on one, and that was the movie I watched. So this is something fun that, there was a point where I'm sure when I first got it, I watched a bunch of them, like probably 5 in a row, right? And then it slowed down, and maybe went a couple months without watching them, and then I watched a couple more, and then it slowed down. But recently, I've gotten really into movies, and this has been one of my big tasks, was to finish this poster, and I just finished it, right? And so I wanted to make a video of me going through and rating the top 100 movies of all time according to this poster. So keep in mind, this is not my top 100 movie list. If it was, some of these movies would not be on there. But I just thought this would be a fun little thing. And I'm actually going to link this poster down below just because this was super fun. I think I might, this one, I had a couple issues scratching off a couple of them. So I think I might buy the poster again at some point, scratch them all off just so I can frame it, right? Because I know it's silly, but I'm really proud of this. It was a lot of work and a lot of time. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I made a tier list here, and I am going to go through this tier list, which you should be seeing here in just a second. And I'm going to go through all 100 of these movies and put them on this tier list. And I have right here, I have my journal that I wrote in. I wrote in the movies in this journal because, sorry, I'm talking so slow. It's because I'm doing this while I'm talking. Because I was gonna be using my laptop to record, using my laptop for the tier list, using my phone to record. And you really don't need to be knowing all this, but I'm getting this ready here. And you should be seeing this tier list here in just a second, and I'm going to make it the predominant of the screen, I think, and just make myself a small box in the corner. So I'm going to start recording this right now. All right, so here we are. Here's the list. Here's all the movie posters. I'll go through. I know those are tiny, so I'll go through and tell you what all they are if you can't see them. We have our 7 tiers here. Starting at the bottom, F, which, yes, they actually do have some Fs, D, C, B, A, A+, and S. If you don't know how tiers work, for whatever reason, S is always the top. I don't know the exact reasoning behind it, but S just means it's the best. It's superior, I guess. And the reason I actually have A and A+ is because these are some of the best movies of all time. So majority of them were in this top half here, and so I decided to split them up just a little bit more, just so I didn't get too crowded in those. I have these posters down here. They should be in alphabetical order. They're in alphabetical orders of the PDF, which the PDFs I named should be the movies' names. So unless some of them got out of order, which if they did, it's not that big of a deal. But we're going to be going through, and I'm going to be putting these movies in order now. So I'm ready to go here. Are you ready to go? This video is probably about to be so long. I have no idea. You do, because you clicked on it. So good luck with that. So first off, we have 12 Angry Men, which was just easily S tier. I had never seen it before, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time now. I absolutely loved it. I think it's so interesting how it all took place in that one room. I'm not going to give a full thing like this. Some of them, my reviews here may just be 1 or 2 words just because there's a ton of movies here. But I love 12 Angry Men. 2001: A Space Odyssey. We're going to the other end of the spectrum here. I thought this movie was so boring. Let me say this, because this is important. These rankings here are based off of my enjoyment of the movie, not how good I think the movie is, even though I may say like, oh, I didn't think this was a good movie. I'm talking about my enjoyment of it. I thought 2001: A Space Odyssey was incredibly boring. I understand its cultural significance, its historical significance, and why people consider it a good movie. Just me personally, I thought it was pretty lame. Next up, we have 3 Idiots, which is going in the D. Similar. I thought the humor, I just didn't really get a lot of it. I thought it was way too long. I understand that is very where this movie comes from. Longer movies are more normal there. Totally get that. I'm not against a long movie. This movie was just a touch too long for me. And I'm going to try my best to be able to make it to where you can see this tier list here. And I may zoom out my screen here a little bit. I don't know. Next up, we have Airplane. We're starting off bad start here. Also in the D. I thought the humor was extremely outdated. A lot of the jokes were pretty just outdated, not fresh. And next up we have Alien, which I'm going to put in the C. Thought it was good. I thought it was fine. We have Amadeus. I'll say this about Amadeus: the final scene, the spoiler, the death scene, and where he's composing when the 2 guys are composing the final song was good, but the 2.5 hours leading up to that were pretty boring. Amelie, D. Didn't think it was funny. I promise that not all the foreign films are going to be low. That's not why I don't like them. It just, maybe it contributes, but I don't think that's why. It's just sometimes a movie hits, sometimes it doesn't. I didn't personally enjoy that one. Next up, we have American Beauty, which I'm going to put in the B. This was actually one of the first ones I watched. So I watched it years ago. Luckily, though, I am a spaz, and I kept a spreadsheet as I went and didn't have to try to think of these. Even though I didn't know I was going to be doing this, I still kept a spreadsheet of what I thought I would rate these movies. So I'm going to zoom this out just a little bit. Hopefully that's not too small for you to see. Oh, well, you'll be fine if it is. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. But American Beauty was good. American History X was really good. This is kind of my thing here is these are like some of my favorite best films of all time. These are great movies. These are really good movies. These are good movies. These ones are fine and not very good. It's kind of my thought process here. American History X is really good. Edward Norton is great in that. American Psycho, I'm going to put right here next to American Beauty. And then I think we're through the 3 American movies, it's funny because they're all so different from each other. Next up, we have Apocalypse Now. I'm going to put in the A. Great war movie. Martin Sheen is great in it. Marlon Brando in the brief amount of time that he has is great. And good movie. Next up, we have The Avengers. If you know me at all, you know this is going up here in the S tier. I love the MCU, and I think The Avengers is one of the best entries. Next, we have Back to the Future, which for me is an A. I think it's extremely impressive for the time. I think it is a very timeless movie, but I'm going to put it in the A. And if you want more in-depth reviews of these, let me know, and maybe I can do a little series like doing a 2-minute review of each of them. That would just be really long for this kind of video where I'm doing all of them. So just let me know what you guys would want to see on this, because I'd be more than happy to do more stuff for this since it took me so long to watch all these movies. Next up, we have Batman Begins, A+. I think it's a fantastic movie. The movie stands on its own, but it also sets up the trilogy really well, which is nice, and I do take that into account if there's more than one film in a series, and it's intentional that there's going to be more than one film in the series. How well does it set up the others? It did it really well. A Beautiful Mind, B. I think it had a great twist. A good movie. Before Sunrise, I'm going to put it in A. It's one of those movies that it's really good because the concept it's interesting, but it's not complex. It's just 2 people hanging out and talking, but they do pull it off really well. The dialogue is really good. The Big Lebowski is absolutely hilarious. I thought it was so funny, and I'm going to put it A plus. Next up, we have Blade Runner. I was extremely disappointed by this movie. I will be putting out a blog post talking about these movies, and I'm not sure when that'll be. It may be before or after this video, right around the same time. But I'm going to be kind of grouping them differently. But I think one of those categories probably will be movies that underwhelmed me, that I had higher expectations for, that didn't meet them. Blade Runner is definitely one of those. I thought it was not very good. I didn't really enjoy it. So, yeah. The Bourne Identity, I'm going to put in the B. I think if Matt Damon was not the lead actor in this movie, I wouldn't like it quite as much. But fortunately, he is. So, I liked it a lot. I'm going to zoom back in here a little bit just so you guys can see. And, well, no, I'm going to stay zoomed out. Sorry. I'm just trying to decide how to do this. Next up, we have Braveheart is going to go here in the A tier. I think it's really good. Freedom, all that stuff. Casablanca, I'm going to put in the C. I think for when it was made, it holds up very well. It's not too long. Interesting enough story. Cinema Paradiso, F. I thought it was extremely boring. Don't like it. Really long. Citizen Kane, probably the most overrated movie of all time. I'm sure it was revolutionary when it came out. I understand why people think it's so good. I personally do not find it very enjoyable. What I do find enjoyable is Cidade de Deus, City of God. See, that's what I'm telling you. I can enjoy a foreign film if it's good enough, and City of God definitely checks that box. One of my favorite movies of all time. Another addition to the F tier, A Clockwork Orange. I think off this whole poster, this is probably the worst movie that I watched. I think that just because a movie is super out there and super violent and super racy doesn't mean that it's good. And I'm sure that's not the only reason people thought it was good, but that just, I usually do really well with violence. I can handle a rated R movie. Cussing doesn't really bother me. Things like that don't bother me. This movie was too out there, though, to where it's like I felt like a bad person watching it, a little bit, but I just didn't think it was good. The Dark Knight, come on, guys. Obviously, The Dark Knight, especially if Batman Begins, was A+. Obviously, The Dark Knight is S tier. One of the greatest movies of all time, in my humble opinion. Next up, we have The Departed, A. Great acting from Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio and Jack Nicholson. And Mark Wahlberg, even though he's fairly minor in the movie, also gave a good performance. Dirty Dancing, A. Good movie. I enjoy it. I love Patrick Swayze. Super fun. Next, we have Django Unchained, S tier. Great movie. I'm going to be doing another review for that here soon. It was on my brother-in-law Grant's top 10 favorite movies. I just watched it. So I actually watched it twice because I watched it for this a while ago. Well, I've seen it multiple. I saw it once just on my own, watched it once for this poster, and then watched it once for Grant's list. So, yeah. Donnie Darko, C. It was fine. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, C. It was fine. Fargo, B. I thought it was an interesting story, interesting concept, pretty well executed. Fight Club, B. I never saw Fight Club. I did see Fight Club. That's an inside joke. I did see it, and it was all right. It was good. It was good. Finding Nemo, A+. I know you guys are probably like, this guy put Fight Club in the B tier and Citizen Kane in the F tier and Blade Runner in the D tier, but he put Finding Nemo A+. Heck yeah, he did. Deal with it, boy. Forrest Gump S tier, greatest film of all time. Yep, I said it. Gladiator S tier, fantastic movie. Love it. I just reviewed it again for my father-in-law JJ's list. Go watch that if you're interested in a little more of a deeper review. The reviews on there aren't super long either, but yeah. The Godfather. So when going through this poster, I'm going to grab it again so you can see. I realized something when looking at it, that I think that this person that made this, they're not numbered, but I think it has it numbered like 1 through 100, because the 1, 2, 3, like these first few movies are movies that you often hear as the best, like Shawshank, Godfather, The Dark Knight, Pulp Fiction. It's like those are movies that people are going to say are the best. So I think it was in order. The Godfather's the second one on there. It was actually the last one I watched. It kind of got, I'll admit, I had my mom randomly pick. It got to the point when I had 5 or 6 movies left. There was some on the bottom tier and a couple near the top, and The Godfather was one of them. And I told her, I was like, hey, don't pick The Godfather. I'm going to save it for last because it's The Godfather, right? Like, everyone says it's the best movie of all time. I don't know if I'd say it's the best movie of all time. I understand why people really enjoy it. For me, I thought it was pretty good. I'm going to put it in the A tier. Maybe you just lost all respect for me. If so, that's okay. I hope we can still be friends. Next up, we have... Okay, yeah, see these ones, I guess, got out of order here. So this is Good Will Hunting. That is The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Okay, Good, the Bad, the Ugly. I'm going to put here in the A tier. Good Western, really enjoyable. That's what that is, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Sorry, team. Just wanted to make sure. Good Will Hunting, though, S, one of the most well-written movies that I personally have ever seen. Goodfellas. This may be a hot take. Actually, because I don't love crime or gangster movies. I have The Godfather right here. I actually enjoyed Goodfellas more than The Godfather, so it's going to go A+. The Grand Budapest Hotel, A. Thought it was good. I don't typically like Wes Anderson movies. This one I do enjoy. The Great Dictator, A. I think it holds up really well for being made like 90 years ago, whenever it was. And I think it's pretty funny as well. The Green Mile, A+. I'm a sucker for Tom Hanks. Groundhog Day, which is one of the ones that's on. There's a few on here that's like, okay, I guess this was just the guy that made this one of his favorite movies because I don't know why it's on here. That's kind of how I feel about Groundhog Day, but I'm going to put it in the C tier. Guardians of the Galaxy, A+. Fantastic Marvel movie. Not quite in the S tier for me, but still love it. Hachi, A Dog's Tale. That's another one that I think was just like, okay, that must have been this person's favorite to make this list. Again, not a bad movie. Extremely emotional. Makes me cry. So I am going to put it in the A tier. But I think when I talk about the greatest movies of all time, that's not one that's going to come to mind for me. One that is going to come to mind to me, my favorite movie franchise, even more than the MCU, is Harry Potter. And I think that Sorcerer's Stone is probably my second favorite of the movies, but I do think it's the best of the movies. Inception, A+. Love Christopher Nolan. Love Leonardo DiCaprio. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, I'm going to put here in the A tier. I think it's very good. Though, it's kind of funny to me when there's more than one movie from a franchise here, and it's like I said, these are in alphabetical order. And so Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is just called Raiders of the Lost Ark, not Indiana Jones, and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, even though it says Indiana Jones on the poster, is actually A+. So I'm going to go ahead and put it there just to do it. I think Raiders of the Lost Ark is the best Indiana Jones movie. Last Crusade, that can be number 2. Inglourious Bastards, S tier. This is something I realized while watching this, and this is a spoiler for some of these, but also not really. I thought that I didn't like Quentin Tarantino or his movies. I think I might. I think I actually really do, because, like, look at this. We got Django. I'm sorry, I keep going up to these ads up here. We got Django right here, Inglourious Bastards right here. There's a couple more on here, and we'll see where they fall. I already know, but you'll find out. But it's just like, I actually really enjoy his movies, and I'm going to go watch the rest of his movies that weren't on here that I haven't seen. Interstellar, one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I think it's fantastic. Again, I love Christopher Nolan. I didn't even have to look at my list for that one. Into the Wild, I'm going to put here in the B tier. I think it's so funny. Every time we talk about this movie or the book, my father-in-law will talk about how my mother-in-law, whose movies I just reviewed in one of my last videos, go check that out. She was upset with how the movie ended, and she was like, "It's so sad." And he was like, "Well, yeah, it's a true story, so that's kind of what you have to expect, you know? It's like true story movies usually don't end super happy, I feel like. But I guess if you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. If you know, you know, but if you don't know, you don't know, right? The Intouchables, not the Untouchables, the Intouchables, French film, A+. I haven't seen the American remake with Kevin Hart, but I'm sure it's probably not as good. I like Kevin Hart. That's not a diss on him. I don't think it got very good reviews, and this is considered one of the best movies ever. Jaws, A. I've seen Jaws a bunch of times. It never gets stale. Good movie. A. I like sharks. So this movie right here is actually the reason I didn't think I like Quentin Tarantino. Kill Bill. I'm gonna drop that right there in the D tier. I don't like Kill Bill. I think it's outrageous. I think it's choppy. I think, and I don't mean outrageous in a good way. It's just I don't really enjoy it. I don't think it's bad. I understand why it's well praised, and I think it's deserved, but it's just not for me. Even though I like martial arts movies, and apparently I like Quentin Tarantino, but I don't like Kill Bill. Also, on the poster, it just said Kill Bill, which made me assume it's the first one. I've seen both, and I would rate them together, like they did. And the other instance of that we'll get to in here in a second, where it just said like, it just like I'll tell you, it just said The Lord of the Rings, and it didn't specify which one. I've seen all of them like 10 times. I watched all 3 of them before I scratched this off the poster. So this is, oh, my mom, I got her the same poster but with books because she loves to read. It's been a little bit of a challenge just because some of the books on there she's absolutely loved. They've been great. And then some of them are like super long, like the Odyssey, old books that are just not super exciting. And so she's been grinding through that though. This is a way easier. It's going to be 3 hours max. Well, Lord of the Rings was like 10 hours for watching all 3 of them. But it's like going to be like 3 hours max, and she's reading all these books. So mad respect to you, Mom. I'm sure you're watching this video, and I'm glad that we're still doing your poster. I honestly thought about, even though it'll probably have a bunch of the same movies, buying another one of these posters just because I've had so much fun doing that with her and sending them to her. It's like it was almost bittersweet when I actually took her and showed her the last one in person, but it was kind of bittersweet for me because it was like that was something. I text my mom a lot. She's one of my best friends. You can make fun of me if you want. But that was something it was like I always look forward to watching it and being able to scratch it off and send it to her, and have her pick me another one. And we would talk about the movies, and I'd be like, yes, you should definitely watch this. You guys would love it. Or no, you don't need to watch this one. So anyways, Leon the Professional, B, good movie. Young Natalie Portman is really good in it. Jean Reno, I think that's how you say it. Maybe it's more French than that, but I don't know. Good movie. Life is Beautiful. Here's what I'm going to say about Life is Beautiful. I'm going to put it in the A category. It would be higher for me, except the first act before like them being in prison actually starts feels like a completely different movie and feels a little unnecessary. And I understand that it's just setting the scene for the relationships. But I don't know. I think if it was just, this sounds so messed up. If it was just like the Holocaust and seeing them in the camp and everything like that, it would be a better movie. But again, that's just me. The Lion King, A plus. Yeah, The Lion King. What else can I say? Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. F. Thought it was really boring. Logan was actually one of the last ones I watched on here. A, I'm really excited for Deadpool and Wolverine, but I don't, they've already said like they're not touching anything that happened in Logan because I do think it's a fantastic ending to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, even though I now realize he's coming back. Lord of the Rings, I said I watched all 3 of them. I've seen them enough times. Obviously, I love them. S tier. See how top heavy this is? A plus, and S. I think this is how it should be though, because like these are supposed to be like the best movies ever, right? What do we have next? Mad Max. I'll admit, I did not love or did not like at all, actually. I still want to watch Mad Max Fury Road. I haven't seen it, and I've heard the Thunderdome one is good. But people say the first one's good too, and I thought it was really boring. I also don't understand how they go to like a guy that lives in the desert to like this big like futuristic sci-fi movie. Like I don't understand how they get there so quickly. Whatever. Another movie that I do not like and might get hate for, The Matrix. Don't like The Matrix, thinks it's boring. Moving on. Memento, B. Memento's a good movie. I reviewed that for my father-in-law, JJ's List. You can go check that video out. I'm just going to keep plugging myself. Plug away, right? I don't know why. Plug away. I don't know if it is. It feels like that might be something that's inappropriate. So maybe I shouldn't say that. If it is, I don't know. But it just felt like it might be. $1 Million Baby, C. I thought it was fine. You guys can't even see the movies that I'm dragging down here now. So let me show you. These are the movies we have left. So I may have to zoom this out just a touch more, but we'll see. Monsters Inc. A. Really good movie. Or I guess this is good, is what I decided. I don't really care. This is my list. I can use whatever words I want. What movie's next? No Country for Old Men, A+. Anton Chigurh is one of the best movie villains of all time. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest here. I'm going to put in the A. Jack Nicholson is fantastic in this, as well as the rest of the supporting cast. Fun movie. Pan's Labyrinth, was not a fan. D. I'm not a big horror guy, so that may be why. The Pianist. B. Something funny isn't the right word, but something that is an observation that I made is that there are a lot of Holocaust movies on here. It was like, I think I really realized it because I watched like The Pianist and Life is Beautiful back to back. I had just watched Schindler's List like a month before, and there's World War II movies like Saving Private Ryan. Like there's just a ton of there was a ton of World War II and Holocaust movies on here, which I understand those movies are usually really well done. Usually, at least the really famous ones. Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, S, fantastic movie. The whole trilogy is good, but that one is great. And I think that this one does specify that it's talking about the first one. The Prestige, B, pretty good movie. I enjoy that one. Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction was really when I realized, because I was like, okay, I love Django Unchained, I love Inglourious Basterds, but I don't like Quentin Tarantino. Then I watched Pulp Fiction. I had never seen it. And I was like, oh no, okay, I do like Quentin Tarantino, because Pulp Fiction is fantastic. Requiem for a Dream, D, just awful movie to watch. Sad movie. I don't mean it's an awful movie. It's an awful watch because it's so sad and emotional. Again, that's not always a bad thing. A sad movie can be good and can be enjoyable not enjoyable, but can play on your emotions in the right way. I didn't like Requiem for a Dream. It was just a hard watch. Reservoir Dogs, B. See, like this one, I was like, oh yeah, I don't like Quentin Tarantino. I like these two movies. This one's fine. I don't know why I was trying to convince myself that I didn't like Quentin Tarantino. I have these left, and then I'll zoom back out here so we can hopefully see this whole list in one thing. Or what I may do, I may snap a picture of it and then put it up there just to make it a little easier. Next up, we have Rocky, B. I enjoy the Rocky series. I don't even think this is the best one. I prefer Rocky 4, which, guess what? I just reviewed for I'm going to be reviewing for my brother-in-law Grant's movie. Spoiler, that's my favorite Rocky movie. So there you go. Saving Private Ryan, A+, fantastic film. Scarface, C. I was a little bit underwhelmed, I will admit. Schindler's List, like I just said, I watched a bunch of these back to back. Schindler's List is the kind of movie that's so good. I appreciate that. It was a good watch, but it's like I'm never gonna watch that again because it's so depressing. Okay, this is another one that's gonna give me some flack. Seven Samurai, D. I want to rewatch it. I'm gonna rewatch it and give it another chance because I know that was the main one for me. The rest of these, I'm like, whatever. I'm like Blade Runner. I'm like, I could maybe watch that again, give it a better review. Seven Samurai I want to watch again because I feel like maybe I just wasn't watching in the right headspace. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention. I don't know. But because I feel like it really would be a movie that I liked, and it was not. I did enjoy the movie Seven. I'm going to move that up here to A+. Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman were both great. Morgan Freeman being great. Oh, no, wrong. Shawshank, S tier. One of the best movies of all time. Love it. The Shining, C tier. Like I said, some of these I might do more broken down on my blog, but it's just, I don't want to keep you guys here all day. So I'm sorry if I'm just getting repetitive. Oh, this one's fine, this one's bad, but oh well. Shutter Island, A. Good. Like I said, I love Leonardo DiCaprio. Silence of the Lambs, A. Really good movie. Snatch, F. Was not a fan. Thought it was super boring. It's like I had to watch it in multiple sittings. Not a fan. Spirited Away, C. I understand why it's super hyped up, but I just not really. For me, it didn't do what it does for other people. Next up, you see I'm scrolling up here, so this next movie is going to go way up high here. Star Wars, boom. I think on there it just said Star Wars. Let me see if I can see it on this poster. Where's Star? Yeah, I think it just says Star Wars, which obviously I'm talking about the first one because it literally was called Star Wars, but until they changed the name. Taxi Driver. Sorry, Sawyer. This is one of my brother's favorite movies. F. Don't like it. Don't get it. And I usually like Scorsese. Terminator. B. I'll admit I was a little underwhelmed, but not enough to go down here anywhere. Yeah. Titanic. A plus. I love the Titanic. I love Leonardo DiCaprio. Titanic's a great film. There you go. Toy Story. A plus. Come on, you can't hate on Toy Story. Train Spotting, C. I thought it was fine. I guess maybe I just don't like British movies, is what I'm learning, with Train Spotting being here and then Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels both being down here. I don't know, though. But what I do like is The Truman Show. In fact, I love The Truman Show. S tier. Up is going to be in A tier. Then we have The Usual Suspects, which is A plus. Then we have V for Vendetta, C tier. Vertigo, D tier. And WALL-E in the B tier. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. Oh, that's way too small. You probably can't really see that. So I'm going to zoom back in and I'll just scroll. So the S tier, A plus. A is the most full. B, C, D, and F. Luckily, F does have the least, so I don't feel like too much of a hater. Now I'm going to end this recording, but I'll put a picture of it up just so you guys can see it better. But that's my list. I went through all 100 of those. A had the most. It has, I don't know, 24 movies in there maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, is that 10? 20 movies in there. And F tier had 7. The best movie off of here was Forrest Gump. I already knew that going into it, though. Well, no, I was willing to have an open mind and change that opinion, but my opinion didn't change. My personal favorite that I had not seen, though, prior to, was 12 Angry Men. And like I said, the worst movie on this poster was A Clockwork Orange. Was not a fan. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for a blog post that will probably be coming out soon. And you know, this was a really fun thing to do. This video is only just over half an hour, so that's good. That's not bad. I was expecting it to be like an hour long, so that's good. Maybe more people will watch it. Who knows? But anyways, I know I've said this, but if you want to see me break down any of these movies even more, just let me know, and I'd be more than happy to do a review on any of them. I'll probably rewatch them before I do a review just to do my due diligence. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Peace.